During times of uncertainty, it's comforting to know we have a healthcare system in our community that's been committed to supporting us for well over a century. In this current time, we are standing together, and our bond is stronger than ever. KDMC, caring for our community like no one else can.
He's a great competitor, and he gets frustrated sometimes. And we had talked after the second inning, and again, he's got high expectations for himself, and I get it. I don't know if we got a better competitor, on the team, and he gets a little frustrated, but he really locked in there and made some pitches. Just a good day. I think a 3-pitch mix, able to move the fastball in and out. Today was a better pitching day, I think, to kind of with the wind blowing in from right, push, some of those balls down. But, he was able to stay in some good counts. A couple times where they, made a rush, he was able to make some pitches and get off the field.
It's kind of an obvious question too, but Tim comes through again, goes 4 for 5. And there was a time there that y'all had 2 hits through 4 innings, then he gets the big hit, just what he means to this team as a captain. And
and one of the things when you look about offense, I always talk to Clem about, there's a lot of different ways you can look at your offense. People look at running and home runs and batting average and runs scored. But how good are you in the middle? Right? How good are you 3, 4, 5, or 2, 3, 4, or wherever your guys are? And today was a tough day in the middle for us, where both Graham and Dunhurst, I don't believe, get a hit, and but Tim got all of them. Got 4 hits and 2 really big ones, of course, the home run. And offensively early, we weren't able to get that timely hit that we talk about a lot. But we kept the score intact. And then once we scored, as the old adage goes, hitting's contagious, and we just started scoring. And one of the things I thought was made a difference today was every time they scored, we were able to answer back. And that's big on Sunday, to be able to answer every time they score.
Parrish, go ahead.
Mike, you just answered my question there. I was going to ask you about hitting toward the end of the game. You did.
I just really, we got started getting the timely hit. I think early on we got some people on, but we just couldn't get that big hit, couldn't get them in from third, and once we did, it kind of broke open the floodgates.
All right, we'll go to Nick.
I know you don't build a team to win in March, but just how valuable is it to start off 6-0 in this league with all the tests you have ahead of you?
It's hard to answer. I mean, you don't really, I think as a coach, you don't look at it that way. You're trying to keep the blinders on and just, win the next game. But when it's over, you realize that, sweeps are tough. And we got 2 of them back to back and 1 on the road. And, against, I think 2 good clubs and this Alabama team that, I think once they get their ace back, the lineup can be scary. Their guys in the middle, as I was just mentioning, can be really scary. When you look at the top 4 guys in their lineup, they all got 5, 6 home runs. And I think they're going to beat some people in our league.
I know it wasn't a long outing for Wes, but I know it wasn't a long outing for Wes. For Wes, it wasn't the longest outing, but how close is he to being back to the guy you saw last year in the fall for you?
I think he was good. I think, we, at that point, the hope and the goal was to get to Mallitz, at the end, and, a strike thrower with a lead, and, let him go to work and hopefully not have to go to Broadway or Myers or one of those guys. And, the hope was that Miller would get through the 8th and Burton would get the 9th. Didn't work out that way. And but I'm proud of him. Came in and got the out that he's supposed to. And those young guys, we forget. That even though he's been here 2 years, he really hasn't. He's been here less than half a season basically. And so just I think the more they run out there, the more confidence they get, and the more they feel that they belong.
Chris Miller, go ahead.
Mike, a non-game specific question, but can you give us an update on Hayden Dunhurst's thumb?
Yeah, I mean, this has been going on probably since the beginning of the season. He got a bone bruise. He actually was a catcher's interference early on in our inter-squad games before the season started, and basically just became a bone bruise. And those that have ever caught before realize that the thumb gets banged up a lot, and as good as a receiver as he is, manipulating the ball back there, it sometimes can get banged up just receiving the ball. And then he got a couple foul tips that, he caught wrong yesterday and just was really sore today, and just thought if he was questionable to start. And then if we don't start him, then you can't move him to the DH. And so, felt it was better to, we don't lose the bat. And so we put him at the DH spot so we could, again, keep his bat in the lineup and, have confidence that Knox can handle it back there.
Ben, go ahead.
Mike, you talked about it just a minute ago, how the second-year guys, they didn't get a lot of time last year. And John Rhys is even less so because not getting the fall and then preseason coming in after football. But he's played a big role for you so far, even with injuries and everything like that. And then today has a big day. What's changed about him compared to last year and how he's grown?
I think he's just worked so hard offensively. And the other part is, I think you answered, Ben, is just just being out there, and last year he misses the entire fall. So he hasn't really played baseball since his high school season that ended in whatever May, then he comes out, we have a 4-week season, and then there's not much baseball after that. And he's competing for, a job on the football field. So, I mean, you all know that, and it's tough to be a two-sport guy. But the one thing that I will say about John Rhys, and the thing that I think not just me, but the entire coaching staff and every player on the team respect how much he cares and how much he wants to succeed in baseball. And so he works his tail off, and he's gotten a lot better offensively, and he's made himself a really good defensive outfielder, which when he got here, he was a guy that was really athletic, but we weren't sure how great of an outfielder he was. He's never been coached in that. We weren't sure what kind of base runner he was. And offensively, he struggled a little bit. In all of those areas, he's really improved.
Go to Chris Bolton.
Coach, it's one thing to coach a guy up who's struggling, from batting and everything, but what do you kind of tell Tim, who's been rolling everything, when it comes to trying to coach him up when he's in such a zone like he is now?
It sounds like I'm being sarcastic, but kind of stay out of his way a little bit, and I think as coaches, you can make mistakes when things are going well, get out of their way and let the stars be the stars. And I think that's important. And again, when the stars start to struggle a little bit, I think that's when as a coach, you got to be careful of, how you handle those types of things. And because they are the guys that make you go. I mean, it's great to have, 40 guys, but, sometimes it comes down to the stars and how well the stars play. And, he's one of our stars.
Any more questions? All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Mike.